5 friends decided to go cave diving in Gollum's Cave in August of 2005 and appropriately named it the Cave of Death. These were in a search of a thrill, due to the rumors of the existence of a hidden compartment inside the cave and behind water. What seemed to be an exhilarating daredevilry to partly inspired Romans by swimming through the sea at midnight turned into a tragedy. Sadly, for our cast of characters, not everyone would survive till the end of their journey. It only makes one wonder how their search for excitement became such a fatally catastrophic one. What actually transpired within the cave that led to their death? A fateful decision. Once Wednesday was received, and particularly the 17th of August, 5 friends ate their dinner when the discussion about the peculiar cave near Y Mountain was initiated. Of course, it wasn't completely unknown. It was in the close proximity of Brigham Young University, BYU, though students were rarely warned not to venture into the cave. This had far from been an inviting sight. Gollum's cave entrance was nearly a foot underwater, and the opening was only 4 feet high, making one have to bend in the nearly 100 feet long shallow water stream. To most people, it would seem rather uncomfortable, if not terrifying, to even contemplate going into such a cave. But for those people who knew that there was the chamber inside the cave, it was the battle that they could not avoid. Its hidden part of the cave demanded that the adventurers descend through an 18 by 24-inch water-filled aperture. Some of the part was regarded challenging by even the most experienced cavers, but the lure of the blackness enticed the group deeper into the cave that ill-famed night. By 2 a.m., they had made the decision. They would stand eyeball to eyeball with the Cave of Death. The descent into darkness. The group members got from left to right were Jennifer Gilbraith, Blake Donner, Scott McDonald, Ariel Singer, and Joseph Ferguson. Out of all the people there, only Jennifer had been into the inner sanctum before. Although Mishea had bad thoughts in her last time, Mishea's interest of showing friends the depth and hidden part of the cave has not reduced in one way or the other. After the machinations, the swim to the secret chamber was only 15 feet, and so they should all be able to hold their breath and swim across. However, reluctantly the group agreed. In going up to the cave, Joseph Ferguson chose to sit outside, having deemed it a dangerous trip. With only a single flashlight between them, Jennifer led the remaining 3, Blake, Scott, and Ariel, into the cave. One by one, they mustered the courage to lower themselves into the small, water-filled hole. Jennifer, being the most experienced, went first, disappearing beneath the water and swimming through the narrow passage. The tunnel, no bigger than a refrigerator door, was just 2 feet wide and 4 feet high, claustrophobia at its most extreme. Following Jennifer's lead, Blake, Scott, and Ariel all dropped into the water-filled hole. With their hearts pounding and the adrenaline surging, they made the short swim toward the inner chamber, unaware of the deadly danger awaiting them. The cave had one crucial element that proved deadly: bad air. To the cavers, bad air is any type of air that is not the standard 21% oxygen and 79% nitrogen. In such places as Gollum's Cave, water sources are blocked and there is very little air circulation, and thus there is death through respiratory breakdown with the accumulation of carbon dioxide. The friends had walked into a room where oxygen is not available, but carbon dioxide, which is heavier than oxygen, collects at the water level. This dangerous change in the composition of air in the Earth's atmosphere would not be easily noticed at first, since the production of carbon dioxide is gradual. They will only require just a few minutes in this environment and be at the risk of having their cognitive, motor, and respiratory systems impaired. It would significantly decrease everyone's chances of swimming out and thereby save themselves were they to be trapped in the cave. The first one who tried to swim back was Jennifer, and she almost immediately got lost in trying to find the small hole that they used when entering the chamber, which, due to lack of oxygen, she couldn't make it. The air that she was breathing was 10 to 12% oxygen concentration, far below the level adequate for normal cerebral functioning. Perhaps she even had only 1 minute to live before her physical weakness took the better of her, and she woke up perhaps in water, in a search for a way out. Those of her friends who had remained inside the cave, ignorant of what has befallen poor Jennifer, were also suffering. When it was time for Ariel to go next, she stepped out from one of the narrow passageways, Jennifer's dead body laying there. She strongly believed that her friend was not moving, and the impact of building up carbon dioxide would frustrate her. Finally, feeling the last of her own energy and oxygen being sapped from her body, Ariel probably fell unconscious in the water just beside Jennifer. Blake, who followed, faced the same nightmare. By the time he encountered the bodies of Ariel and Jennifer, he would have been operating on severely diminished capacity. The small, claustrophobic tunnel allowed no room for movement or rescue, and with two bodies already blocking the passage, Blake had no chance of pushing through or escaping. Scott, the last to remain in the inner cave, would have faced the most prolonged exposure to the toxic air. With his friends already unconscious or deceased, his body, weakened by oxygen deprivation, would have given up quickly during his own attempt to exit. Joseph Ferguson stayed outside all the time they were inside, and only went in when the four friends were done. Day came and went, and then night, still the group never left the cave. Feeling frightened, but not knowing what to do, Joseph attempted to contact some friends who knew of the cave. Eventually, as his worry grew, he contacted local authorities at around 6:25 a.m. At the same time, by the time the group found a cave, everybody most probably froze, got lost, or panicked because hypothermia sets in, and the lack of oxygen is overwhelming with high levels of carbon dioxide. Brian Lamprey had said that when he visited the cave, he got lost and had to struggle in vain trying to find the exit hole. In the process, he got lost, felt he was going to die, and all he wanted was freedom and escape. He had only succeeded in being lucky enough to spot the hole in the last instance before taking in a mouthful of water. For Jennifer, Blake, Scott, and Ariel, there was no such miracle. They paid dearly for their chance. These people died due to the annoyance of bad air, getting confused, and fatigue, a tragedy remembered. The helpless victims only breathed their last by the time the rescuers were in the scene. Jennifer, Blake, Scott, and Ariel were all identified among the dead that were discovered in the cave. The sad demise of what the kids had initiated as a fun experience shocked the small town. The idea to form this group of friends was for the purposes of seeking adventure and new experiences, which led to the tragic end of the story. Gollum already can tell residents of the cave that adventure at some point can disastrously turn out to be. Despite this, the group was ill-equipped to handle the villains that are hiding in the dark, slender caves. This event shows that nature must be respected, as do the struggles it poses. The search for adrenaline can be fatal. The authorities later sealed the cave entrance with concrete, ensuring no future cavers would meet the same fate.